Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be testing out a brand new set of makeup brushes that I'm really excited about. These are from the brand MODA and it is their Prismatic face brush set. I mean, how seriously gorgeous are these brushes? Like, really. So I got these at Gen Beauty LA. This set retails for $25. You can get it at Walmart. It just launched and they're basically sort of an affordable take on the Artis brush. So they are these like paddle style brushes with really soft, really dense bristles that are supposed to not absorb product and just spread it around your face really evenly. So I thought the best way to put these guys to the test with a first impression is on camera, and we're going to do a little tutorial today. I already have, as you can see, have my eyes and lips pretty much all done, so we're just going to be doing foundation, concealer, blush, powder, basically everything that they claim you can do with these brushes. So I have the box here. Obviously the brushes are out of it. So the first brush in this set is this number 801 brush that's for all over liquid or cream foundation application. So I'm going to be using my NYX Total Control foundation today for this demo. This is definitely one of my favorite liquid foundations, and I definitely prefer to apply this foundation with a brush versus a sponge. So I thought this would be a great product to test out for this demo. Now, I'm not wearing any primer because I didn't want to basically sway how this brush worked in terms of foundation application. So I just washed my face, put on my moisturizer, didn't do anything else special. So I kind of know how this foundation applies like that with my normal buffing brush, so that will give me some way to compare the two. So I'm just gonna dropper this foundation onto the back of my hand. It's very, very liquidy. And then we're just gonna dip this in here and see what happens. So my first instinct is this brush is super, super soft. Like, that is for sure. But it is kind of large, so like for like big areas, you can definitely move quickly. But I feel like, I mean, there are smaller brushes for getting in those precise areas. Like, since I've done my brows and everything, I don't want to screw those up. Looking at the actual brush, I can see a bit of foundation is in there already, and I'm wondering if that's just because this brush is a little bit less dense than the Artis, and also this foundation is very, very thin. So I feel like I still don't have really much coverage around my cheeks, so I'm going to try to go back in and build that up. Unlike a regular brush, these brushes you're meant to like swipe the product on and really press it into the skin, and you're not like buffing in circular motions the way you do with a normal brush. I do think it is applying the foundation pretty nicely. I think this is also just a very sheer foundation that you really have to build up. So my first impression of this brush is that it is super soft and definitely does make foundation application pretty quick. I do feel like this blended the product into my skin nicely. This is a very like sheer to medium coverage foundation. It takes a lot to build it up. I don't know if this brush is necessarily best for building up coverage of this particular foundation. I'll be really curious to try this with like my Milani Concealer Perfect, which is a very thick, creamy foundation, and see what the difference is between those two. The other thing I want to note is that this head of the brush is quite flimsy from the handle, so when you are working the product into your skin, you can feel the handle sort of bending. Like, I don't think it's gonna snap off on me, but it definitely does feel a little precarious, so that is one thing I'm not a huge fan of. So let's move on to concealer. I'm gonna use my Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and I'm just gonna apply this under my eyes. Now, this actually suggests to use the smallest brush for blending in your concealer, which is this one right here. This is the number 804 brush. So this seems quite tiny to me, but we'll see how this works. I do like that you get quite a bit of precision in the under eye area, but usually I feel like I prefer a brush that's slightly bigger for this job, just so that the actual application is a little bit more even. See, I like this for getting right around the corners of my nose, but I still feel like this is gonna take me 100 years to blend this out like under my eyes. So I'm just gonna grab this next size brush, which is the 803 brush, which I think they recommend for highlighting. And we're just gonna see how this works. Oh yeah, all right, for blending out under eye concealer and like blending it into the foundation, this brush is perfect. I think the smaller one is good if you wanna get in like all the little nooks and crannies of your face. Maybe even for eyeshadow, that would be a good brush. But definitely for blending in concealer like this brush is much better. All right, so I still do have a few little spots I want to cover up. I'm gonna use my new Milani Retouch and Erase concealer, and I'm actually gonna try the small brush that we just used for blending in like spot concealer. I think it will be better for that. So I'm just gonna take this on the back of my hand, I'm gonna dip the brush in it, and I'm just gonna pat this on to any little spots I have and blend that in. All right, sweet. So I am going to set my face with my Kat Von D loose setting powder, and I'm actually going to just use a regular brush for this. This is another Royal & Langnickel brush. The number 100 MODA brush is their powder brush. So I'm just going to dip, oh god, I'm getting powder everywhere, and just lightly dust this over my face just to set all of that makeup down. This brush is also new to me, and it is super, super soft. Definitely liking it. So this second largest brush, the number 802, is supposed to be good for contouring. So we're gonna give that a whirl. I'm reaching for my Makeup Revolution Ultra Bronze, and we are gonna see how this works to apply contour to my cheeks. So I'm just going to rub this a little bit and dust off the excess, because I feel like this does pick up a lot of product. So I'm going to just tap off a little on the back of my hand so that way it's not too intense on my face. And then we're gonna go in and contour. I think that does actually really quite a nice job. It keeps it very precise and it blends it really nicely. Let's take a little around the perimeter of our face here. Yeah, I'm definitely happy with the way that this is applying a contour shade. Like, I feel like it blends very, very nicely and naturally, very quick and easy, and it's so soft so it doesn't feel scratchy or anything like that on your skin. While we're at it, it says you can also use this brush to apply blush. So I'm gonna grab my Milani Luminoso blush. This one's so pretty. And we're just gonna take this and see how this applies the blush. So this is definitely a more targeted application, but I still do think it blends pretty well. So let's see. I am not hating this, that is for sure. Pretty good job, I like it. I definitely am not hating how this brush is working for blush and bronzer. So just for funsies, let's see how this brush works with a cream highlight. This is the Marc Jacobs Spotlight Glow Stick, which is a nice like pearlescent, it's like a white gold shade. So we're just gonna take this right in the highlighter, get a little on there, and let's see how this works at applying this product. Holy highlights, Batman. So this definitely does apply this quite nicely. It really blends it into the skin. One of the things I never really loved about this highlighter is that I felt like it got a little like chunky on me, but this definitely makes it meld really nicely with the skin, which I really like. The only thing is that it almost makes it like stripey part of it's a cream and you're applying it right in a single solid area. So you kind of have to work it into the skin a little bit more to blend. But once you do that, I think this is going to be really nice. We're just going to take a little of this down the bridge of the nose here. So the last thing I'm going to do to finish up my look is finish my under eyes, because I didn't do them since I was going to wait till after I finished my concealer. So let me throw that eyeshadow on and then we'll be right back for final thoughts. Alright, so we have our completed look here, and I actually am really happy with how this came out. I think these brushes did an excellent job of applying color just as much as they did applying foundation and concealer and blending them in. I think really it's just a matter of having the right brush for the job that you're doing. So the biggest brush here is good for all over foundation, but it's not going to be so great at getting in any tight areas. I actually recommend the highlighting brush here for doing your under eye concealer. I think the smallest brush here is just a little bit too small to blend a large area under your eyes. It makes it a little bit too streaky. This I think is good for spot concealing, or I bet if you wanted to blend out eyeshadow like right in the outer corner of your eye, this would actually be really good for that. Then this second largest brush here is actually very nice for bronzer and for blush. It does seem quite small, but because it's so soft, it blends the product out really, really nicely. So overall, I think this set is totally worth the money. You're paying maybe just over $6 a brush, which is not ridiculous, especially for this style of brush. The Artis ones are like $60 a piece, and that's just crazy. Also, they are so beautiful. Like the bristles have this really beautiful like blue to purple ombre effect, and the handles are, just as the name would suggest, very like prismatic and just really, really gorgeous to look at. So not only will these be very functional for you, but they'll also look really pretty on your vanity. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little demo and tutorial. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. I always really appreciate your support. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that little subscribe button down below. That way you can join my little family here. I post new videos every Monday and Friday, and sometimes I do little special extra bonus videos for you on Wednesday. So as long as you're subscribed, you should stay updated whenever I'm posting new content. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.